Hello, my name is MONTSERRAT VARGAS. I work as PDG in the Faculty of Education assigned of University of Cadiz. I'm going to make a presentation on my point of view regarding the inclusion of the SDG in education. From the perspective of university social responsibility, the university must be in line with the social challenges of the environment. The university must be a keystone in the training, aware in the impact of research in the relation of the sustainable development goals. We have carried out a teaching innovation project, design a methodology to include the SDGs in university teaching. During 2021, in 2021-22, we have studied the awareness and stretch of the subjects to include SDGs. We have proposals such as celebrating international days, analyze textbooks, using music, or discovering that the issue addressed by the SDGs has been dealt with throughout history. We present some methodologies, proposal, and experience of inclusion of the SDGs in the university. First of all, Professor Casanova is going to speak about his experience.
My name is Juan Casanova. I am currently head of the Department of Didactics in the Faculty of Education and Science at the University of Cadiz. This academic year, I am coordinating a teaching innovation project entitled Introduction of the SDGs in the degrees of the Faculty of Education and Science. In this project, 25 teachers have faced the task of introducing the SDGs in each of our subjects. We have come together to share this experience. Specifically, in my subject, I have proposed activities such as the design of didactic sequences to celebrate the International Days in Early Childhood Education. I propose the development of educational videos aimed at students from 3 to 6 years old, whose content revolve around the SDGs. The students in the second year of infant education have carried out individual projects with a practical focus on various topics: attention to student diversity, gender equality, environmental education. The common point of this exercise is that they had to identify the SDG developed in this exercise. As a result of this work, the students have been introduced to the SDGs and have designed activities aimed at children aged 3 to 6, where the SDGs were a central point.
As Professor Casanova said, celebration of international days allows permeability between society and the university, raising awareness of the problems and challenges of today's society. Analysis of the song lyrics relates to non-violence against women. As my colleague Esther will explain, the roles of research laboratory is very important. It allows for the participation of people who are not academic staff. The university participation in cities event is part of the awareness raising process. We have participated in events for SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, in Puerto de Santa Maria, as you can see in the next video.
From the Civitas Lab Laboratory, we want to make ourselves echo of the initiative Revive el Puerto of the Puerto de Santa Maria to promote the sustainable development of the city. When we talk about sustainable development goals, we make a bet to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all. To speak about prosperity for all means that everyone has to get involved. For this, it is essential to raise awareness and create citizen awareness. Sustainable Development Goal number 17 speaks of the importance of creating alliances, something that is only possible if we think of the common well-being. Just as the 17 Sustainable Development Goals are interrelated, our actions and their consequences have an impact on each of them. Sustainable Development Goal number 11 focuses on sustainable cities and communities. It is here where the citizens, each of us, have their responsibility and ability to contribute to the improvement and development of our city. The United Nations urged the establishment of local policies that help mitigate the economic impact after the pandemic and start the recovery of the local economy. A social conscience is necessary, and above all, an awareness of belonging to the community. Love your city, invest, participate, act, learn about its history, experience the streets, the neighborhood, enjoy the park, discover the custom, people, elders. But above all, transmit to the new generations the importance of taking care of their town. How can we do that? And teaching to value and respect heritage, including history in the educational offer, walking through the streets and meeting the protagonists who give them their name, helping to rewrite history to include women and recognize their contribution to local development, understanding the meaning and sculptures, knowing its craft, gastronomy, contributing to the economy by promoting consumption in neighborhood stores, and above all, participating in local initiatives. According to the United Nations, cities and metropolitan areas are powerhouses of economic growth, contributing with 60% of their global gross domestic product. However, they also account for about 70% of global carbon emission and more than 60% of resource use. Using public transport, walking, strolling, and shopping in the center of your city not only contributes to reduce carbon emission, but also to Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which focuses on promoting inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. Employment is much more than working hours. It is good health and well-being, Goal 3. It is reduction of inequalities, Goal 10. And above all, it is Sustainable Development Goal number 17. Create alliances and synergies. It is necessary to work together from the institution and governments, promoting investment, creating regulations that helps the service sector, businessmen, and above all, giving prominence and response to citizens. Local commerce creates wealth in your city, stops depopulation, enhances the historic center, and promotes the sustainable development of your city. It makes sure that trust and closeness and personal treatment between citizens do not disappear. If you don't want your city to stop beating, get to know it, take care of it, participate, and live your city.
We are in the decade of action. In 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals must be achieved. We are in the global crisis, and the coronavirus pandemic will hinder much of the SDGs. Public awareness is important. People are the problem, but we are also the solution. In the subject of early childhood education policies in the early childhood education degree, problems of the past and their current situation has been identified. It has allowed us to discover that the SDGs remind us that there are issues that are human rights. They have been able to identify some SDGs and relate them to the current laws. The students worked with exhibit publicity in the auditorium. The whole educational community was invited. The students felt very good seeing that the event was publicized in the press. The use of university facilities allows us to hold events without a financial budget. Another experience was the analysis of primary and secondary education textbooks in order to analyze the iconography, text, and the treatment of the Sustainable Development Goals, sensitizing future teachers and providing tools to solve the shortcomings, encouraging critical thinking and the construction of new contents. The first analysis shows the absence of recognition of women in history. SDG 17 invite us to work together, share experience and knowledge, discussing pedagogy and the use of technologies in education. For example, radio has been a means of dissemination. It has enabled us to invite people who contribute to the development of our locally. We have invited our students to participate. These are some experience. If we want to include the SDGs in the university, it is important to be aware of other realities, review calendars and timetables to make them more sustainable, make the travel of teachers and the students more profitable. It's not a question of including SDGs in the university, but rather including the university in the society problems.
To conclude this video, I will show you the permanent seminar as a part of our project.
We present the second edition of the permanent seminar, the Transforming Teacher Agenda 2030. The correct use of technologies, the end of addictions and cyberbullying, the importance of dialogue, friendly education, non-violent communication, and conflict resolutions are pillars of society, among many other issues, and therefore fundamental skills in teachers' training. The diversity of students that we meet in our classroom force us to educate ourselves in other social realities, such as immigration. This forces us to address the new challenges of social education and the teacher as a transforming agent in its most social version. We talk about health and well-being, quality of education, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all, or when we act to reduce inequalities, we are talking about opportunities, breaking down barriers and building bridges. The quality of education begins with attention to people in all their dimensions, attending to their special needs, inside and outside educational institutions. So, it's a matter for everyone. Giving answer is much more than investing money. It is sensitivity, awareness, and above all, empathy and defense of the right that make us equal. That's why it is essential to create alliances and work together, families, society, education, and institutions. Sustainable development goals should not be seen as a fashion, a trend, or an option. On the contrary, they come to remind us that health, food, decent work, and education are part of human rights, and that we all make society together. Let us not limit ourselves to think about what planet we are leaving to other children, but what children we are leaving to our planet. We invite you to join the seminars and share this space to think, rethink, learn, and debate these and other current social issues.